Hi folks, in this video we're gonna study the code from Burger Basics Part 5 after navigation. This is a code example from a Udemy course. This is a revision, and the task I'm doing is to annotate the code itself so that I know the code from this project forwards and backwards. Okay, so let's have a look at the project in action. I'll explain what are the things from this project at this stage that need to be explained. Firstly, you notice when the width of the screen is large, you've got the logo here and you have two navigation items to the right. So the burger to the left, navigation items to the right. When you decrease the screen width to less than 500 pixels, you'll see that the navigation items disappear, and now you've got a hamburger icon with 3 horizontal lines to the left and the logo at the right. So that's number one that needs to be explained. Furthermore, when you click on the hamburger icon, it will make visible what we call the side draw. I'll do it again. When you click on the hamburger icon, the side draw animates. It comes into view by sliding out from left to right like this. And when I click on the backdrop, which is this black thing over here, it slides out of view from right to left like this. So that's the second thing needs to be explained. So when it comes to view, the side draw is animated. It comes into view by sliding from left to right. When I click on the backdrop, it slides out of view by moving from right to left. So those are the main things that need to be explained in this video. But just let me tell you first and foremost, what is the state that controls whether the side draw is visible and whether the hamburger icon is visible. Right now, show side draw state is set to false, but once I click on the hamburger icon, it's set to true now. And because show side draw state is set to true, it makes the side draw and the backdrop visible. But once you click on the backdrop to make it disappear, have a look, the show side draw state resets to being false. So the show side draw state is the main state that controls the opening and closing of the side draw. Okay, let me move on. Okay, we need to explain. Let's say we start with toolbar. Let me just go back. Okay, let me increase the width. This band that contains the logo. This is a we call toggle button, the logo, and the navigation items. This band that contains those elements is called toolbar, and this whole thing is called side draw, and this gray background is called backdrop. Okay, so we are starting with the toolbar. So we start with toolbar when the screen width is large or greater than 500 pixels. Right now, from left to right, we have logo and navigation items. When we decrease the screen width to be less than 500 pixels, now the toolbar has, from left to right, draw, toggle button, and logo. Stop here. What is the draw toggle button? That is this hamburger icon. Okay, so when you decrease the screen width to be less than 500 pixels, now toolbar has, from left to right, draw toggle button and logo. And when the draw toggle button, which is this hamburger icon with 3 horizontal lines, when that is clicked, side draw slides from left to right and becomes visible, as we've seen, on top of original elements. The rest of space is occupied by the backdrop. Backdrop is the slightly opaque dark background. So let me remind you, backdrop is this, the space that is not covered by the side draw when side draw is open. Okay, so let me go through it again. When draw toggle button is clicked, side draw slides from left to right and becomes visible on top of original elements. The rest of space is occupied by backdrop. Note that side draw is visible on top of backdrop. Now when mouse clicks on backdrop or one of the navigation items on side draw, both side draw and backdrop becomes hidden. We've seen that when you click on a backdrop with mouse, the show side draw state becomes false, and that triggers both side draw and backdrop to be hidden. Okay, and it says here the difference of clicking on backdrop or the navigation item is that when you click on a backdrop, side draw slides from right to left and becomes hidden, but when you click on a navigation item, they just become hidden but without the sliding effect. Let me show you. So when I click on a backdrop, you can see that the side draw slides out from right to left. If I click on one of the links, it just reloads the app, okay, without anything, without the sliding effect. It reloads the page. Okay, so let's start with layout. Okay, note how from layout the toolbar, side draw, and burger builder are placed in a sequence. Then they are each styled differently. They are all components that need to be present in the page, and we start by placing them each in succession in this manner. This is a common design pattern used in the React project. So simply you list them in a sequence, all the components that need to be on the page, and then style them accordingly. So first we got a toolbar that needs to be styled, also the side draw, and inside the main it wraps around the burger builder in this case. So I'll show you. what are the components that need to be present? We got a toolbar at the top, we got a side drawer with a backdrop, and this whole thing over here, the burger image and the controls, they were covered in the last part of the burger project. I think burger basics part 4. So you got a burger image and the controls. This whole thing is a burger builder. Okay. So let's cover the let's cover the styling of toolbar and side drawer, and then cover how they are styled according to the screen width. But first, let's start with the basic styling. Okay, so this is the toolbar. You can pause at this point and examine the code. Okay, so the toolbar has a fixed height and occupies the whole screen width, and it is fixed at the top and far left. Its position is fixed, which means toolbar will stay fixed when pages scroll. Okay, so you can see here, position is fixed, and you attach it on to the top and far left. Okay, and it has a certain height, as you see, so it's a band on the top of the page, and it covers the whole width. Okay, so toolbar's background color is set to dark brownish color, which is this color over here. Toolbar's display is set to flex, and I said here flex flow, but what I mean is flex direction. Okay, so I'll change it interchangeably, but what I actually mean is flex direction. Okay, so the toolbar's display is set to flex, and flex direction is defaulted to row, which means the drawer, toggle button, logo, and navigation items are arranged horizontally across the x-axis inside toolbar. Okay, justify content being set to space between means that these components inside toolbar are spread apart horizontally such that there is space between each of them. This is different from space around, where all components that are affected have space left and right. Let me show you. So there are actually 3 components inside the toolbar. I'll show you. The first one is a drawer toggle, which is the hamburger icon. Second is the logo, and third is the navigation item. But depending on the screen size, the screen width, the drawer toggle gets hidden conditionally, and also the navigation items are hidden conditionally. But note that they are those components that are visible, they are aligned horizontally in a row. Okay, and why is there space between the logo and the navigation items in this case, and also when you decrease the width from the drawer toggle button and the logo? Why is there space in between? It's because its display is set to flex, and the flex direction is set to row, and the justify content is space between. Okay, it's exactly as what I said, it's space between. So that's why there is a space between the 2 components inside the toolbar. Let me change it a bit so that Well, I know that you can't see this because it's too small, but I'll just change something. Let's change justify content to space around. Then you'll see there's a space left and right to both components inside the toolbar. So that's the difference between space between and space around. But this is not what we want. We don't want space over here. We don't want space over here. So let's fix it again. Fix it back. Yep, it's back to normal now. So I hope that makes sense. And the align items being set to center centers the affected component inside toolbar vertically. You can see that these the draw toggle button and the logo, they are centered vertically, right? Okay, and note that toolbar has 20 pixels padding left and right. The toolbar is the wrapper, the span at the top, as I said. And can you see that there's a space here and space here? That's because they're left and right padding style to the toolbar itself. Okay. And it says here also its Z index of 90 should be less than that of side draw, which will appear on top of toolbar when it is open. That's simply because you need the side draw to be on top of the toolbar. Okay, so the side draw has the higher Z value than the toolbar or the burger builder. So that the backdrop and the side draw will be on top of them. Okay, so that's what Z index does. Okay, so it says different styling of navigation items according to screen width. Okay, so we start with navigation items JS. If you want, you can stop here and have a read. Okay, so the navigation items is the wrapper for the navigation item. There are two of them. And let's look at the styling of the navigation items. This is when navigation, this is the styling, this part. Okay, this is the styling of navigation items when the width is less than 500 pixels. This is when side draw is open. This places navigation items vertically. Layout is achieved by flex, and the flex direction is set to column, so that the effect is the navigation items are arranged vertically. Align items in this case centers the navigation items horizontally. That's because the flex direction is set to column, which means the main axis is no longer x-axis but the y-axis. If you don't understand flex, then you should Google it. So I'm here. Because the navigation items wraps the navigation item in an unordered list, you get rid of the styling for that unordered list, and then it's set to flex. Flex direction is column, so that the navigation, each navigation item is arranged vertically. And because the main axis now is y axis, align item center has the effect of centering the navigation items horizontally, and it occupies the 100% of its wrapper. So let's just show you what I mean. It's when the screen width is less than 500 pixels, which is in this case. We know that because we have the draw toggle button visible. It's saying the logo and the navigation items, they are arranged vertically. Okay, so it makes sense. This is the styling of navigation items when the width is larger than 500 pixels. So that this is when the slide drawer is closed. That makes sense, right? Slide drawer is only meant to be opened when the draw toggle button is visible. Okay, so that the layout again is achieved by flex, but flex direction is this time is set to row, which means the navigation items will be placed horizontally. So this is a media query for that. So what's inside here? Setting the flex flow to row or flex direction to row only happens when the screen width is larger than 500 pixels. That makes sense, right? It says the flex direction is set to row now. So that's when the screen width is large. You can see that we're talking about not the whole toolbar now, but just these two. These two navigation items are wrapped by the wrapper called navigation items, and you can see that these two items inside the wrapper are next to each other horizontally. That's the effect of setting the flex direction to row. Okay, so it makes sense. Okay, so let's look at the navigation item itself. It's pretty long. I guess I'll pause here for 3 seconds and pause again for 3 seconds so that you can stop it and read it if you like. So this is the styling for each navigation item when screen width is smaller than 500 pixels. This is when the side drawer is open. Here the anchor text becomes light blue when it is active or hovered. Okay, so this is the general styling for each navigation items. Each navigation item. Yeah, so this is the default color of the anchor. Yeah, so it changes the anchor's color when it is hovered or active. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, so presently the burger builder link is set to active, so you can see okay, sorry, this is the styling when the side drawer is open. Sorry about that. Yep, so you can see that here the burger builder's link is set to active as well, but the only thing it changes is the color of the anchor. It becomes light blue. Otherwise it's the link that is not active is dark brown or something like that. Okay, so that's what. So originally this color I presume is like dark brown or something, but once you hover it or the link is active, it changes the color to a light blue color. Okay, Now we go on to the styling for each navigation item when screen width is larger than 500 pixels. This is when side drawer is closed. Here, layout of each navigation item is by flex, and the display is set to flex, and align items centers it vertically. What it means is it's applying to the anchor. Okay. So the display is flex. I guess the flex direction is row, so that the align item centers it. This is applied to the children of navigation item, which is the anchor. Okay, let me show you something. Okay, so navigation item. So let's first change it to maybe 70%. And now you can see, because of the align items being set to center, this link is vertically centered, right? Now if I change it to flex start, the line item set to flex start. Oh yeah, sorry. This is the wrapper. I'm talking about the anchor itself. So let's change it back to, let's change it back to 100. Yep, it occupies the whole height of the toolbar. Let's change the anchor's height to 70%. Yeah. And change the, oh yeah, now it works. Because it applies to the anchor and you set it from its wrapper. At this stage, the anchors are vertically centered by align items set to center. As you can see, it's vertically centered. But if I align the items to flex start, you will see the anchors will stick to the top, right? If I do flex end, it will stick to the bottom of the toolbar, as you can see. Okay, so let's restore it. Now it's back to normal. Okay, so we've gone through the styling of the anchor, which is inside the wrapper navigation item, setting the display to flex, and changing the align items to other than center and see the effect. So we've done that now. Okay, it says here the anchor that is not active or hovered has no line at the bottom. Well, it's transparent. You see the border bottom has been set, but it's set to transparent. Let's have a look at the next one. Anchor that is active or hovered has a blue line at the bottom and background color becomes lighter. So you can see here the border bottom set to some kind of color here. It says it's a blue line. Let's have a look. See here the Burger Builder link is set to active by default. You can see the background color is lighter and you see the blue line at the bottom. If I hover it, the hovered one also styles the same, but the link that is not active or hovered has no line at the bottom. Well, it has, but it's set to transparent, so it is not visible. Cool. We made progress. Now the side draw. Oh, actually, let me just okay, let's have a look at this. The draw toggle is rendering this hamburger icon over here. That's called draw toggle in this project. So it says this styles the hamburger icon 3 horizontal lines in a box. Have a pause at this and have a read if you like. Okay, so it says the 3 divs inside the wrapper div represents the 3 horizontal lines. So these 3 over here. The wrapper div has display set to flex and flex direction to column, which arranges the 3 horizontal lines vertically inside the box. The effect of setting justify content to space around is that 3 horizontal lines all have space top to bottom. Remember that this is the case because the flex direction is set to column, so the main axis is no longer x-axis but the y-axis, and consequently also align items set to center arranges the 3 horizontal lines inside the box to be centered horizontally. Top and bottom padding of the box are set to 10 pixels so that the 3 horizontal lines are equally apart vertically. The 3 horizontal lines are given width of 90%, so it is shorter than the width of the box. They are also given a small height, so they are visible as horizontal lines. The lines are given the color white. In effect, a box is styled with 3 white lines centered and vertically equally apart inside the box. I have a JS fiddle here. It's this one. I'll link this JS fiddle and other JS fiddles in the description. Okay, let's go down. Okay, the side draw JS. I'll first stop here so you can have a read. and stop here also. Okay, let's have a look. Alright, so let's just comment the code here. So by default, when you're trying to style the side drawer here, what I mean by side drawer in this case is when you open the open the side drawer, I'm referring to backdrop as the space here, and the side drawer as what's visible to the left. Although the whole thing is inside the side drawer JS. Okay, so we are styling the side drawer with whatever is added to the attached classes, and it is controlled by this is the pass down prop of the show side drawer state from the layout JS. So by default, side drawer is styled by the close class, but if the side drawer, if the show side drawer state is true, then you style the side drawer by the open class. So let's just focus on this. Okay. So you see here, defines the animation when draw toggle button is toggled. When side drawer is open, it moves from left to right and becomes visible. When it is closed, it moves from right to left and is hidden. It should be noted though that when draw toggle button is pressed, it is hidden behind side drawer, and side drawer is closed when mouse clicks the backdrop or one of navigation items. So you can see these are the styling for the animation when the side drawer is opened or closed. So the translate X is used for the animation effect. So that's what it is. This is the styling for the side drawer. It's fixed like the toolbar. It has a width that is smaller than the screen width, as you've seen. It covers 100% of the screen height. It's attached to the far left and top. It has a high Z index because it has to be on top of the original element. Its background color is white, and this is just transition for these animation effect. So have a look. As you can see, it covers the whole screen height, covers partially the screen width, and its background color is white. Okay. So what's here? It's just saying, well, I'll go through it. Slide drawer is open only when draw toggle button from toolbar is clicked for the first time, and the draw toggle button is only visible when width is smaller than 500 pixels. So it makes sense to hide the side drawer when width is larger than 500 pixels. Just means when the width is large, side drawer doesn't need to be visible at all. So this media query is saying when the screen is larger than 500 pixels, make it invisible, I guess. Okay. Alright. And this is the styling for the logo, which is this image over here. Commentary. First of all, the Z index of side draw is greater than that of backdrop, which is greater than that of toolbar. This is so that when side draw is open, backdrop will cover the whole screen and the side draw will be visible on top of it. So this one thing on top of the other is controlled by the Z index. Side draw has the height of screen and partially covers the screen with white background. It is also fixed on top and far left of the screen. So even if you have to scroll it horizontally, it will stay stuck at the left side of the screen. Okay, we're making progress. I think this is it. Yep. So all the way to the top. Draw toggle. CSS. This is the styling for the draw toggle button, which is, I remind you, is this one over here. Yeah, so it says hide draw toggle button when the width is greater than 500 pixels, and the media query for that. So the description is hide the draw toggle button from toolbar until screen width is less than 500 pixels. And this styling for the toolbar says hide navigation items from toolbar if screen width is less than 500 pixels. You know that when navigation items are hidden from toolbar, draw toggle button is made visible. And this is another media query for that. And the description is display navigation items from toolbar when screen size is greater than 500 pixels. So this is one of the problem description that I have stated at the beginning of this video. It pertains to the toolbar. When the width is large, both the logo and the navigation items are visible. When you decrease the width to less than 500 pixels, the navigation items are invisible, and the draw toggle button, which was invisible, becomes visible. And all of this is simply styled by media queries. Okay, is that it? Okay, moving on. It says explaining the behavior of side draw when it is open and how it is conditionally hidden from view. So this is the side draw JS code that we've had a look at. I'll pause it so you can have a read. Okay. Note that the whole showing hiding of side draw's child components is exclusively controlled by show side draw state passed down from layout.js. Firstly, backdrop is only visible while show side draw state is true, and when clicked on by mouse, it sets the state false, making the backdrop invisible. Refer to this code inside the backdrop component. this show prop is actually the passed down show side draw state, and only if that is true you render the backdrop. Otherwise it is nothing. And the wrapper that contains logo and navigation items, let us call the side draw, is styled according to the state of show side draw. Namely, when the state is false, the close class is applied to it, and when the state is true, open state is applied. In this case, side draw is not removed from rendering, but rather literally animated into view or removed from view. Okay, we are having a look at this code fragment again. This defines animation when draw toggle button is toggled. When side draw is open, it moves from left to right and it becomes visible. When it is closed, it moves from right to left and is hidden. It should be noted though that when draw toggle button is pressed, it is hidden behind side draw, and side draw is closed when mouse clicks on the backdrop or one of navigation items. So when it is styled as open, because it starts from the closed state, which moves the whole thing 100% to the left side, when the toggle button is clicked, it moves 100% to the right side and becomes visible. So these two classes define the animation effect of the side draw. When side draw is open, it moves from left to right, coming into view. When it is closed, rather than preventing its render, it is moved from right to left out of view. You can check this by setting for closed class transform translate x 0, then the side draw will always be visible. Okay, let's do that. So you're going for the draw toggle CSS. Nope. Toolbar maybe? Nope. Toolbar. Or let me simply. Where is it? Oh, it's in the side draw JS. Here, if I change the close class to this, you'll see that the side draw is always visible. Okay. If I change it back, then it is hidden. So what I'm saying is that unlike the draw toggle button, which is actually removed from the DOM when width is large, the side draw is actually always visible. It's just not visible to you because it is moved out of sight by moving it far to the left beyond the screen. So it is always there, but it just comes into view when you click on the toggle button. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, so lastly, for the reason why backdrop and side draw disappears when a navigation item is clicked, it simply loads the link root, so it reloads the app. Okay, so what I'm saying is, when I click on the backdrop, it animates the side draw as it becomes invisible from view. But if I click on one of the links, there's no animation because it just simply reloads the app, because each link has its link value set to root. It's a temporary fix, but we haven't implemented beyond this yet. Okay, it's been a long video, but I actually know this code forwards and backwards. I have to do the same when the project progresses further, but at this stage I know this code very well. Okay, so before finishing, have a look at, focus on the state show side draw. It is set to false. When I decrease the screen width, the toggle button becomes visible. When I click on it, show side draw state changes to true. If I click on the backdrop, so the side draw animates hidden from view, you can see the show side draw is now false. So you can see the backdrop and side draw, they are only visible when the show side draw state is true. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.